Good morning, everyone, or afternoon, evening, depending wherever you are in the world. Thank you for joining us. This is the first introduction to affiliated members of 2026. And we are joined by Kim today. She is very far away on the other side of the world from me. I'm in Portugal currently. Kim is all the way in Australia, in Quoin Island. And we're going to be introducing Quoin Turtle Center today. I'll move on to Kim, though. Kim, would you want to introduce yourself a little bit and also explain who are you working with and what's your position within it?
Yeah, hi, I'm Kim van Oudheusden, originally from the Netherlands. Have been living in Australia since 2012. Yeah, and I'm with Quoin Island Turtle Rehab Center. I've been working with them since 2015. So pretty much 11 years. I've been the manager since 2018. And like you said, we're based in Australia. We're based in Queensland. That's a state. It's the Sunshine State of Australia. And we're based in like central Queensland, and we service a pretty large area, about 400 kilometers of coastline, and all these islands in the southern Great Barrier Reef region. So a pretty special place in the world.
It's a great undertaking, the amount of coastline that you have to cover.
Yeah.
How long, even though you've been there since 2015, how long has the center been operating for? Since that long, or even before you were there?
Oh, before I was there, so the center was opened in 2012, and it started because of the floods in 2011. I don't know if it's the case with other centers as well, but we do see a really large influx in sea turtle strandings when we have had floodings, which happens occasionally in Australia. And then you get the fresh water running into the ocean, causing issues for the sea turtles. And then generally a few months later, we just see a massive influx in turtle stranding. So at that time in 2011, there were actually quite a few animals like sea turtles just washing up on Quoin Island. And the owner of that island, he's a philanthropist. His name is Bob McCosker, and he decided to start a sea turtle rehab center. And thought that it was just going to be a temporary thing. It's not going to be busy at all. And he was told that you just put them in fresh water for a week and then they're going to be just magically better. So yeah, many years.
A lot of changes since then.
Lots of reality checks, like of like hard it actually is. But now it's established. Like we can't walk away from it, especially because yeah, we're the only purpose-built facility in the whole region. Yeah,
So
the
when you
animals
say
just.
that it started with the floodings, I'm guessing that's over the winter time. So our
Oh, no, it was actually the
or
summer.
this summer,
Yeah.
okay. That's also
So
when in the year does this happen? Okay.
yeah, it was in the summertime. Yeah, that's the things that are really impacting the strandings here and cyclones and yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so what
things.
species of sea turtles are you handling the most there? Which animals are getting stranded with these issues?
We predominantly get green sea turtles. I'd say about 90% of our patients are green sea turtles. We also get loggerheads, hawksbill turtles, and we get to work, because we're in Australia, we get to work with the gorgeous flatbacks as well. Yeah.
Yeah, you're quite unique in the world. There's so many species I haven't seen yet. I have to
Yeah.
travel all the way there.
So
And
pretty. We've got two
with
in care at the moment. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I was gonna ask, like, what kind of when you say, for example, that majority are greens, are they like adults, juveniles, subadults? Like, what kind of life stages do you get the most?
Um, Predominantly juveniles, so around that 40, 50 CCL.
Mhm.
Yeah, but we do also get adults. We've had 699 patients so far. So the next patient's going to be number 700. And out of that, we've had 50 adults, so like big adults. Yeah, and then quite a few sub-adults. We do also get some post-hatchlings, but yeah, predominantly juveniles.
Okay. And I was asking just because being that you are so isolated over there, to get a big green adult, like it means that logistically it is much harder to have to handle such
Oh my gosh,
heavy
yes.
animals.
Yeah. The heaviest one that we've had was 165 kilos. So yeah, the
Yeah.
logistics, like it's just a bit hard, especially if the animal's stranded on a beach somewhere, and then it will have to be transferred in a car,
Hmm.
like where the boat is, and then be transferred to the island. But
It's
yeah,
a
you just
great
need.
segue, actually, because I was going to ask you, like, how in general, if you cover such a large, vast amount of
Yeah.
beach area and islands, like, how do the animals get to you?
Yeah, so we have a really good network of stranding responders
Hmm.
across that whole region. And then we've got about, we call them turtle taxis, like a group of like over 150 people now that help us to drive the turtles to Gladstone, which is like the nearest town, like where we're based. And so from Gladstone, we take the animals over to the island. And then sometimes, like when they're really big, it's easier if we just leave the animal in the car. And there's actually also a ferry that goes to our
Okay.
island, so
Hmm.
that we can just leave the animal. So it just really reduces the handling and the stress on the animal, and we can just drive it right up to the center and put it straight
So
onto a
is this
treatment table.
all like volunteer based, or for example, the ferry and the boats also like do not charge you and help you guys out? Is like,
Yeah, they don't. So that's, yeah, the ferry does it for free. So that's, yeah, we're very grateful for that because otherwise it would really really add up. And then yeah, we've got our own little boat, and then it's from like through the company that the owner of the center, that philanthropist, um his employees actually help as well. So they drive the boat over to the island
yeah, there's always
and
more
help us.
logistics.
Yeah, it's easy when it's just a small one. But yeah, when they get bigger, it just yeah, it becomes a
It is
little bit more.
tricky, yeah.
Yeah.
So how many of these animals are you getting per year on average to the center?
Yeah, well, initially it wasn't that crazy. Probably around like 50, sometimes even less, when it was a quiet year. But the last few years, the numbers have just gone up and up. So it's generally on average like around 100. Like 2025 was a little bit over 100. Um, yeah, a little
Have you
bit
been able
busy.
to understand why are the numbers increasing? Is it just because you have more reach in terms of also educating of the public and people are spending more time checking these animals, or it's just happened potentially by other the causes of stranding that are increasing the animals? Have you had
Yeah,
any
I'm
thought?
not entirely sure. We definitely saw like during COVID when people couldn't really go anywhere and they were
Hmm.
walking on the beach a lot more. So 2020, that year we had like a big spike in animals as well. So I think that had a lot to do with people being on the beaches more and then actually finding the animals and then calling us. But also maybe, yeah, the awareness. We've really focused on education and putting ourselves out there so people maybe know more where like who to call, and that it's not normal if a turtle just sits on the beach, and people actually maybe care a little bit more
Yeah.
um,
It
and
is
want to
interesting
help.
because when you're saying, oh, COVID maybe brought you more animals because people were spending more time at the beach, and it's interesting in other locations where they depend more on snorkelers or boat crews, but people on boats, and that wasn't
Yeah,
happening through COVID, that they had actually less animals coming in. So it's
yeah,
interesting how different parts of the world faced
yeah.
COVID differently. Yeah. So with all those animals that you had, actually, how many animals are you able to comfortably carry for at the center? Obviously, not the 100 at a time.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so we've got a permit for 20 animals.
Mhm.
So rehabilitation is pretty like heavily regulated in Queensland, in Australia. But initially we started just with a permit for 10 animals, but then we had to increase it because we were constantly at that permit limit. So they went to 15 and then we went to 20. We can probably, if because we've got another pool on the island, that we could house animals in as well. We could probably have around 45, depending on the size, if they would be mainly juveniles. I wouldn't say that's like comfortable though, but we could like have 45. I probably need to get a little bit more volunteers on the island to come help out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How actually, like, since you're talking about the tanks, like how is the disposition of it? Do you have like indoor facilities, outdoor facilities? Is it all outdoor covered?
So we've got like a medical clinic, and then we've got the ICU area is partially undercover. So we've got six isolation tanks.
Hmm.
Um, and we've got a 9 by 5 meters in-ground saltwater pool as well. Um, but we have a second pool as well that we could transform into a turtle pool. We use it for humans now, so the humans would not like, so like that's for our volunteers. They use that pool. It's a really nice pool. But if we have to, the humans can't swim anymore and we
Whenever you
just
need
transfer.
to, if you need to rehab your volunteers too. Is all these waters, is the water coming from the ocean directly, or do you have to make it up
Yeah.
in, okay.
No,
Very
no, we're
nice.
so lucky. And I didn't realize until I started visiting other facilities and then seeing like big piles of salt. I'm like, what is all that white stuff there? I'm like, oh yeah, didn't even realize how lucky we are. Yeah, we can just literally just pump it and it just goes through our filtration system. So yeah, we've
Hmm.
got to open life support systems and we can just
Perfect. Yeah.
constantly uh,
I
yeah,
was just
change.
curious because you had mentioned about the flooding and about how it changes so much as well, the salinity in the water with the fresh water. And if you're pulling
Yeah.
out the water from there, then the water in the tanks would be the same issue that the turtles are facing outwards. Or if you have
Yeah,
like tanks of kind of closing the system and keeping it separately.
yeah, we haven't really had issues with that also because like we're not like right at like the mainland. We're a little bit
Mm,
further out.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. These issues are on the mainland, of course, not on the island. You don't have enough rivers
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
island. And so when we're discussing these, what are the most common injuries or illnesses then that you treat there with your animals?
So I'd say about 35% of our animals come in like due to like a human impact, like direct human impact, which is mainly in our region because it's so heavily marketed as a boating and fishing destination, like
Okay.
Southern Great Reef. So people really want to go fishing, so they come up from Brisbane with their boats, and so we see boat strikes, fishing line entanglement, fishing line ingestion, hook ingestion. So that's problematic. Also see more foreign body ingestion, so plastic. We
Mm-hmm.
never really had that big of an issue with it. I still remember it was a few years ago when we had a sea turtle veterinarian from Brazil volunteering with us, and she was so excited, like with the first post-mortem, but then so surprised when there was no plastic in the turtle because every animal that they open up in Brazil was just full of plastic, and that's not so much here. But we do see it more, especially in the post-hatchlings that we get in.
Mm-hmm.
They generally
Yeah.
full of plastic, so and not all of them survive. Then the ones that we do lose, like we've got a pretty high success rate, 70%, so we're pretty proud of that.
Yeah, that's
But
great.
the ones that we lose are generally like ridden with spirochete fluke,
Mm-hmm.
which is interesting. So I don't know if that's an issue at other centers as well, especially in the GI tract. And then we see more and more buoyancy issues. So the floating sea turtles. I'm
And
not sure
those are
what's.
usually juveniles, adults, or is it just
Um,
attacks a bit of?
A bit of both, but mainly the juveniles. And then with the juveniles, it's easier to rectify it. Generally, what we've seen with the adults, um, we haven't been able to rectify it. A lot of them that we've had in, there was a big increase in those animals last year. Australia Zoo Wildlife Hospital was seeing the same issues. We collaborated with Australia Zoo Wildlife Hospital, SeaWorld Foundation at the Gold Coast, and Sea Life at the Sunshine Coast. Like the four of us, like really collaborate a lot. So and discuss patient
Mm-hmm.
cases like that. And we were all seeing the large adults had really severe fecal compactions
Okay.
that we just couldn't do anything about. And completely unsure, like also what's causing it. So there's actually a PhD student that has taken some samples to see if we can find out like what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if
These
it's
were
has some
greens.
greens, yeah, they were all greens, adult greens,
Mm-hmm.
female adult greens. So yeah, we're just not sure what's going on, and that makes it so hard, especially when you lose them.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, you just don't
So
know
you would say
what's.
that it would be like the 35% human impact, and then the other ones were all the buoyancy concern mostly?
Yeah, buoyancy and then sometimes you just don't really know what's going on with the turtle.
Okay.
Like the diagnostics are just like unclear, like
Hmm.
inconclusive. And then when you open the animal up, like when on the postmortem, they're just ridden with spirochete fluke. So the animal didn't stand a chance on survival, which is quite sad.
Okay. And how is veterinary care managed at your center? As I understand, you're a nurse. So are
Yeah.
you the one responsible for doing all the care? Do you have a vet that comes over to the island to assist you on the surgeries, for example? How does that get done?
We have Dr. Luke Ross, so he's the aquarium vet. He's also the veterinarian for Sea Life and also does work for SeaWorld at the Gold Coast, but also lots of aquariums in Asia, in Dubai. So he's specialized in marine wildlife. He's got a pretty cool job and gets to go to all these different places. So he comes and visits us every 6 weeks. So then we just go through all the animals. And every week I talk to him. So I send him a report. I have to do that like right after because it's due for tomorrow. Once we hang up, I have to send him a report just on all the animals, how they're going, all the
Mhm.
diagnostics that we've been doing. So I send that all to him. And then he will advise what to do. If we get new animals in, I talk to him about about every new animal that comes in as well.
Yeah.
So that's been great. He's consulting though, so he does not do any surgical work.
Okay.
Surgical work we have a local vet that is really comfortable with wildlife. He's a small animal vet, but he just really loves to do wildlife stuff as well in his free time. So he does like the flipper amputation, and I was just there maybe 2 weeks ago. I had a turtle with the biggest cryolids that I've ever seen in the eye. So he actually had to make little incisions. The animal had to go under GA. Um, so we sit still to get those out of the eyes. So yeah, we're very lucky, and that local veterinarian actually donates his time to us. So he only charges for the medication and
That's
not for the
great.
actual time. But yeah, those flip amputations, they can take a while because yeah, turtles are slow with
So in those
everything.
cases, yeah. In those cases, like, does he come over to you, or do you go over to his clinic and he?
No, yeah, I have to take the animal to him. So which is okay when it's a juvenile, but sometimes it can be a bit difficult when it's a large
Yeah.
animal. It's those
And
logistics in first.
yeah, it is pretty because you have to do it twice then. And what in that case, like in where you are based in Quoin Island, like what kind of equipment or facilities do you have access to do some of the diagnostics before you have to
Yeah,
discuss them with
so
the
we have like digital X-ray,
mm-hmm.
like so I can just literally take it into the tank to do the turtle there, so it reduces handling. I don't have to take the turtle in. It's really good when animals are really big. You
Yeah,
just go
that's great.
to the tank, drain it, of course. Blood chemistry analyzer we have.
Good point.
Yeah. Yeah. So blood chemistry analyzer, centrifuge, microscope,
Do you have
Doppler.
an ultrasound access, or that only if you have to go
No,
to a doctor?
no, we don't have that. Maybe next time. So we like, unfortunately, like we don't get government funding in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard to get any funding, so we really rely on yeah, the owner, like, and his philanthropy. So the only things that he can apply for grants for like is for equipment. So I just have to wait every time until there's a grant
Mm-hmm.
opportunity and then apply for it and hopefully that yeah, that we win. And then I
Because you're
can buy.
correct. You are just dependent upon him and grants, right? Because you're not open to the public at Quantardo
No,
Center.
no, we're not. Yeah, which is great. But we don't have the income coming in. But we really just focus on the rehabilitation of the animals. We do get kids to the center, like big school groups, like of 150 kids come through the center. So we get a little bit of income of that. But yeah, we just rely on the owner, and then we have one sponsor as well that gives us money each year. But other than that, we just rely on donations pretty much.
Yeah, that's impressive though to have such a already such an impact though, even though you're not having access to full funding, which is also the problem with all rescue centers, to be fair, but
Yeah.
it's always the money the issue, isn't it? Um,
Yeah.
does your center carry out any research, or are you mostly focusing on the rescue and rehabilitation?
Yeah, we just focus like at our center we focus on the rehab. We do collaborate like with researchers, so several universities and also with government researchers because I do think it's really important. But it doesn't directly contribute to the our patients in rehab,
Mm-hmm.
so I can't justify the expenditure also because we don't get the funding for it. But I
Mm-hmm.
do always collaborate with the researchers. Like we, for example, twice a year, the Department of Environment and Science sends up researchers that do health studies in the Gladstone Harbor. So they literally catch everything that they can for about a week and a half, 2 weeks, and then do health studies, so blood work, and I actually go and help them out with that. I when I have turtles in that are interesting for the researchers to get genetics on, I
Mm-hmm.
take genetics tests for them. We've contributed to mortality research because that was 2 years ago. All of a sudden, there were so many dead animals, like dead sea turtles stranding
Mm-hmm.
on the beaches all across Queensland. So, contributing to that. Um, yeah, it's important. There was a little bit.
It is.
I don't know, like with I don't know how that is in other countries, but research and rehab, they were just almost like not taking each other seriously and just clashing a little bit. So I've been really working hard to try to bridge that gap because it's so important that you work together because
Mm-hmm.
ultimately you have the same goal, like sea turtle conservation. Research is just like the broader picture and we focus on the individual animal, which is still like every animal that goes out there is still important also. Yeah,
And
so I
for example,
collaborate.
and you had pointed out a very clear event about that, which is with the spirit kid. Like when you're catching them off and just taking blood samples, you're not gonna have that image, for example, that understanding that maybe they also have high
Mm,
loads of parasitism, and you are seeing that with your patients, and so
yeah,
that can already inform maybe something else is going on in this region. Why are animals rigged
yeah,
with spirochete, and how can we maybe tackle that even if we can't fully diagnose it in live? How can we get to that diagnostics and understand
yeah,
maybe that the strandings that they're seeing could have been a bout of that? So we just that's one of the reasons why it's so important to definitely collaborate between both systems, right? Because you get
yeah,
a lot more in depth of
yeah,
one single individual.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
so if you
yeah.
want to sum it up, like what would be the objectives of the Quoin Turtle Center, or has an organization?
Well, obviously, for us, the rescue, the rehabilitation, and the release of the sea turtles back into their own environment, but then also prevention. Like we don't want the animals actually to come in with us, so and that's why we heavily focus on the education. So we get the schools that come to us, which is like like that's also like logistically interesting to get that many kids over to the island, and not all schools can afford that. So I actually also do go to schools and do education there. So I've got several PowerPoint presentations like for like that are age appropriate for different
Mm-hmm.
groups, and can even do it online with kids as well. And yeah, we just see like with kids, especially the ones that come to the center, when they actually can get close to an animal. Um, they are more likely to protect the animal, like in the long run, like when can build that connection and see them so up close and understand them a bit better.
Yeah,
And yeah, we've seen
it
it
makes a
like even
big difference. Big difference.
yeah, we've had kids that there was one example, and he had been to our like our center as for a school trip, and then
Mm-hmm.
after that, like a few weeks like later, he went fishing with his dad. So they were just in a little boat with his dad and his brother, and there was this turtle floating. And he was like, no, and his dad was wanted to keep going. He's like, no, 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 that we need to take that turtle to Quoin Island. So they literally dropped it off at our doorstep even. We didn't even have to organize the logistics. So that was so good that that
Yeah.
kid was like switched on. He's like, yeah, we need to help that turtle.
Yeah, we know that they don't stay at the surface like normally. Let's take it home. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah. And
it's really
his father just wanted to keep going. So yeah, but the kid just wouldn't allow him. So when we hear that a lot now, also that parents like because we also have like stalls at events, and then
Mhm.
people come to see us like, oh, you're from Quoin Island. Yeah, you just like really brainwashed my kid because when I'm driving on the highway now and there's plastic, my kid will not stop screaming until I've turned around to go pick it up. I was like, oh, good, mission accomplished.
It
Because
is
that's
always
what
the trick. The go.
that's what I tell the kids. Like everything ultimately ends up in the ocean, like it gets blown in there or through like with the rain and it washes into the ocean. So it's good because the kids just really remember that and they in turn
Yeah.
educate the parents. Yeah.
Yeah, that is great. Also, it's much easier for the parents to learn if it comes directly from their children sometimes too.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Could you briefly share one of your most interesting, successful or not, but a case that has been very rewarding to you, if you remember
Mm.
any? Probably with 700, nearly 700 animals, you'd have a lot of different options. But
Yeah. Yeah, we've had many interesting cases, but the one like most recent that I was just so amazed by was Denise. So she was an adult green sea turtle. She was 145 kilos, big girl, and she had stranded actually on another island. So it was a logistical nightmare to even get her to us, but she had been hit by a boat. So her one of her front flippers was partially chopped off, and then she did not have any boat strikes on the carapace, but like her eyelids like were had come off as well. So she had like the remaining part of the flipper needed to be tidied up so that that was amputated by that local vet. And he fixed those eyelids as well. So she had sutures in there. So she was in care with us. I don't remember how long. But I'm always concerned when we release an animal with like one front flipper or even like a rear flipper, but
Mhm.
like a flipper missing because there's no research on how they do like long term,
Mhm.
especially like with nesting and with like even mating. Like if she had been a male, it'd be really hard to latch on to the female. But and this is why I think it's so good to have like that constant communication with the researchers. She was in like last nesting season, so like they've just been nesting in Australia. She was seen on an island, so Lady Musgrave Island, which is like one of the like, coral cays on the southern Great Barrier Reef, nesting there with her one front flipper. So that was just so amazing that
It
she
is great.
actually is doing really well in the wild because we don't put trackers on them because it's
Mhm.
just too expensive and they generally don't last very long anyway. They
Mhm.
come off easily and it's just a few $1,000s. So yeah, we just don't have the funding for that. So then to hear from one of the researchers that they've seen her on that island and she like laid successfully. It's just
Yeah.
like makes my heart so happy. Yeah.
It is great. We have several reports of turtles with three flippers nesting, whether it is the front missing
Yeah.
or the hind. Even when the hind is missing, they still are able to dig the chamber. Just slightly more wonky sometimes, but they're still able to lay their eggs as well, which is
Yeah.
incredible because these animals are so resilient. And we've also had, for example, when I was in the Maldives, we tagged a three flipper turtle missing the front. And that turtle was still going to the same depths, if not even deeper than other animals that we had
Yeah.
tagged with four flippers when it
Yeah.
was released. And these were olive ridley, so they're a pelagic species, so they're going to like 300
Yeah.
more meters. And that animal was able to still go the same depth. So it's incredible how
That's
resilient these guys are. Just to
yeah,
give
it's
you like
crazy.
some hope. Yes, you can release with three flippers. Don't be scared.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but I had seen them like in the wild, but they're just like wild animals because I've done lots of turtle monitoring as well, like
Yeah.
actually on the Great Barrier Reef Islands. So you literally see them like with the in like the little stump, and then even had to do like assistant like egg chambering because
Mm.
the was missing. But then to see like you can't say your own
You're
animal,
yeah,
a
yeah,
wild
but
animal, but it has been in care with us. Like, and I don't know, like you're happy always that you can release the turtle, but
mhm,
especially if she's not like still fully intact, you still, yeah, I don't know, I still worry.
of course.
So so excited to see
And
that
there's that
she
emotional bond that, regardless of them not caring about us, we still have an
I don't
emotional
care.
bond towards them.
Yeah. I always try not to get attached, but I always do. It's not good.
No, that's, I mean, that's what makes carers important. That's why I guess keep us going also when days are rough, is because you do care about the animals as well.
Yeah.
And what is, since we're talking about this part, anyways, what is your favorite fact that you have about sea turtles, or why did you ended up wanting to work with sea turtles?
Oh, they're just such amazing animals. Like, and also like we don't have them in the Netherlands. Like I'm from the Netherlands, and yeah, sometimes they're there, but it's not a good sign. Then they
Yeah.
get lost. Um, so to be working with them here is just so amazing, and I'm just so fascinated by them. Like they've been around for millions of years, and still like with their environment constantly changing, they still make it work somehow, and just their sheer resilience. Like you get animals come in, they completely chopped up by boat, like half dead, and they're still going. It is just. I'm just so amazed by these animals, and yeah, I just feel like with animals that live in the ocean, because people don't like get to see them all the time,
Hmm.
they have less of a connection with them, and they're less likely to think about them or protect them. So I think it's really important to look after sea turtles, be a voice for them because they can't speak for themselves, and but that goes pretty much for all marine wildlife. But I just love the sea turtles, especially the greens. The greens are my favorites because they're just so gentle, and I love their eyes, and yeah, they're just beautiful.
Very, very expressive animals, even though they don't really have any facial expressions.
Yeah, they are, right? And they have all like they have their own personality. But yeah, I do like the greens because they're just a bit more docile. The other ones can just be a bit more feisty, especially the flatbacks. Oh
I
my
was going to
gosh,
ask you, like, how are your flatbacks? Because it's very uncommon. I mean, anywhere else in the world to have flatbacks, so nobody really knows much about those animals.
oh yeah, they have attitude. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And but they look so cute, so you think, oh, yeah, especially when they're small because their eyes are bright blue and their eyes turn brown like later on when they get older. So, but they are so feisty and like even like the ones. So we have two post hatchlings in care now, and I actually have to X-ray them tomorrow to see if they're like clear on the inside, so they can hopefully be released soon. But even just the way they go at their food, they're so aggressive compared to the greens. And they're just like really little,
Little
so
tiny.
aggressive. So much
That's so
attitude in
interesting.
these effects. Yeah.
And then to end our interview, like, how can members of the local community then help you in your endeavor to protect sea turtles? How can they contribute to sea turtle conservation?
Yeah. So donations, obviously donations, and then and volunteering as well. So we um have like live-in volunteers
Hmm.
because we're based like in an empty resort, so it's not open to the public, but we've got lots of rooms still, so we can offer the accommodation to the volunteers, and they get food provided as well, and they stay with us for 3 months. That gets booked out really quickly though, so I think we're fully booked at the moment until January next year.
Yeah, that's great.
But yeah, and it's like it's booking out so quickly. Like ever since we won the Wildlife Rehabilitation Award for Australia 3 years ago, and that just really put the word out. So we get lots of applications, and I asked like, "How did you even hear about us?" I was like, "Oh, you guys won that award." I'm like, "Okay." Um, so that books out really quickly, but it still helps. So if anybody wants to get some
Mhm.
experience with sea turtles, definitely apply. But yeah, you might have to wait a little bit
Do you accept
until you.
everyone, like every age, every background has volunteers?
Oh no, so at least 21 years old.
Hmm.
Because yeah, you're based on an island, so you just need to have some skills. Yeah, like as a human. Just
Some
yeah,
ability.
some abilities, yeah. And it doesn't really matter the background, but we mainly
Mm.
get people that have done marine biology, marine science, environmental
Mm.
science, veterinary science, people that have literally just finished their degree and just want to get some experience and get a bit more competitive in the job market because it is quite hard to find work in some of those areas. So we get people like that, which is great because they're generally really motivated to learn and then they bring some information as well, like things that they've learned in their education. So that's really great. And then we've got the stranding volunteers, so people that help like across that region that we cover, the 400 kilometers of coastline. And then the turtle taxi volunteers. So that's how people can help us mainly. Yeah.
And then not litter the ocean and
Oh,
and all those
absolutely.
things that your
Yeah. And
children are already doing for you.
yeah. And just be careful when you're out on your boat and when you go fishing. Like, and then with the boating as well, because I just had enough of all those boat strikes coming in, so I actually approached a um shop in like a local shop in Queensland that sells the propeller guards
Hmm.
to set up a collaboration with them and really promote the propeller guards on the for people that go boating. And we don't get any money from them, but those people actually get a bit of a discount to hopefully have less boat
I
strike
mean, I guess
victims.
it would also be less expensive for you if you have less patience with both strikes. So that would
Yeah,
be the way you make the money, in a way. That would be great,
yeah.
actually. I didn't know if it was mandatory or not in Australia to use propeller
No,
guards.
yeah. Is it in other places in the world too?
Good question. Not necessarily. Now, for example, the Maldives was trying to impose that in certain regions where you have, mostly because of the whale shark concern, that they're running over
Yeah,
mantas and whale sharks more than the turtles. We don't see so many boat strikes. It might be because they just don't get to us,
yeah,
but we don't see them so often there. But that's when the first time I was like, well, how is it not like mandatory in other regions, like more developed countries where financially it's more feasible to demand that sort of protection on the
yeah,
boat versus other places who don't have that accessibility. But that is
yeah.
a great collaboration that you're starting there for sure. Hopefully, people do start getting more aware. Maybe get the kids to get their parents to get getting the
Oh
guard.
yeah, I have the propeller guard because they gave us one and it's like bright orange. So when the school kids come, like I have it in my hands, like, have you seen this? And kids really want to know everything about it. And then I give them a little booklet with all the information that we've talked about. And then the code and the thing about the propeller guard is in there. So like make sure that you show your parents the booklet. Yeah.
That is great. That is great. Definitely the brainwashing will work. We're hoping for.
Oh, absolutely. Turn them all into wildlife warriors.
Yeah. So thank you so much for making the time to talk to me. I know it's very late on your side, very early on mine. But and we were back and forth on the dates, but it was great to have this chat with you. For everyone that's watching, their website will be out pretty soon, we're hoping, but they're still
Yeah.
available on LinkedIn and Facebook. You can search for Coin Turtle Center. You'll find them. All their information is still on them too. And once the website is up, it will be even easier. But do go check their work out if you're interested in volunteering with them. Okay, go already right now if you want to volunteer for 2027. Um, and if you have children, if you're living in Australia and you have children in the area, maybe they'll get the chance to visit the center, since only the privileged kids can can visit the remote place. Thank you so much, Kim, once again, and good luck with all the work you're doing there. It sounds incredible.
Thank you so much for having me on. I'm really excited by like being a partner. Like we've been an affiliate partner for 5 years now, so it was great that you guys wanted to highlight our work. So really grateful for
Yeah.
that, and it was lovely chatting to you.
Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.